NASA has recently shifted more attention to Venus, especially amid ongoing discussions about the possibility of life there. Back in the 1960s, however, the planet was widely dismissed even by NASA as a hell planet, while Mars garnered much more interest as a destination for exploration. Harsh labels for planets weren't unusual during the Cold War era space race, especially with the Soviet Union investing heavily in Venus missions, despite the planet seeming completely inhospitable to life. The Soviets, undeterred by the planet's extreme conditions, continued their efforts until the collapse of their empire. Astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson has helped explain the rationale behind this intense focus on Venus, and today, old Soviet images of the planet still offer a glimpse into that ambitious chapter of space history. The fall of the Soviet Union was monumental not just politically, but also in terms of scientific secrecy. From espionage to extraterrestrial theories, much was kept under wraps. Before the U.S. emerged as a dominant force in planetary exploration, the Soviet Union was a major player. While America concentrated on the Moon, the Soviets were laser-focused on Venus. Between 1961 and 1983, they launched a series of missions under the name Venera, the Russian word for Venus, sending 28 rockets in total. Of those, 13 entered Venus's atmosphere, and 8 successfully landed on the surface. These missions were not just symbolic. They solidified the Soviet Union's lead in certain areas of space exploration, even as the U.S. made strides with satellites and advanced technologies. Speculation has surrounded the true motive behind the Soviet obsession with Venus. Some wonder if they had visions of military installations or even habitation. During the Cold War, their intentions remained highly classified, and only recently declassified documents offer partial insights. Yet even today, the full picture remains unclear. The Soviets didn't just dabble in Venus exploration, they pioneered it. They were the first to send a probe into another planet's atmosphere, the first to land on another planet without crashing, and the first to send back pictures and audio from its surface. Following the Soviet Union's dissolution, their space program was shut down in 1992, later reborn as Roscosmos in Russia. Unfortunately, many of their records were either lost or destroyed, meaning the complete story behind their Venus missions may never be known. Still, their efforts were likely driven by cost-effectiveness. Venus was a closer and more attainable target compared to more distant planets. Their missions helped uncover critical data about Venus's intense heat, thick atmosphere, and high carbon dioxide levels. While most scientists agree Venus is far too hostile to support life with surface temperatures hot enough to melt lead, it remains a key focus in space science thanks in large part to Soviet exploration. Their work proved that even a brutal planet like Venus was worth exploring, whether for science, national pride, or simply to win the space race. Venus is about 40 million kilometers from Earth, making it significantly closer than Mars, which is roughly 250 million kilometers away. This distance played a key role in the space strategies of the U.S. and the Soviet Union during the Cold War. While the U.S. had the financial resources to pursue Mars missions, the Soviet Union, working with fewer funds, focused on Venus partly because of its proximity and partly due to technical limitations, such as losing contact with spacecraft sent over longer distances. The decision wasn't just about convenience, it was also strategic. At the time the Soviets began targeting Venus, NASA was still trying to land on the Moon. In the 1960s, the U.S. struggled with its Venus missions. Every attempt failed, which gave the Soviet Union an opportunity to seize the lead in the space race. The Soviets saw Venus as a crucial target and pushed forward, launching a series of missions under the Venera program. Even with fewer resources, they managed to achieve several milestones while the U.S. concentrated on lunar exploration. Meanwhile, Venus's harsh environment led to its reputation as a hell planet, a label often used by the U.S. to downplay Soviet accomplishments. Still, the Soviets remained undeterred. Beginning in the 1950s, they developed the technology needed to send probes to Venus, and over the next 30 years, they launched a remarkable number of missions. By the mid-1960s, their capabilities had advanced enough to launch Venera 3, the first spacecraft to reach and impact Venus's surface, intensifying the space race. Progress continued into the 1970s with missions like Venera 4 and 5, which provided vital data on Venus's atmosphere and surface conditions. Venera 7, launched in 1970, became the first spacecraft to transmit data from the surface of another planet, offering crucial insights into Venus's temperature and pressure. Later missions, such as Vanera 13, went even further by capturing color photographs and analyzing surface rocks. Despite some failures, these missions greatly expanded our understanding of Venus and planetary science. In the 1980s, Vanera 13 demonstrated even more sophisticated technology by taking high-resolution images of Venus's surface. By the time the program ended in the early 1990s, the Vanera missions had far exceeded expectations. Their legacy continues today as Roscosmos and NASA collaborate on a new Venus D (VD) mission planned for the late 2020s or early 2030s. This joint mission aims to investigate Venus's atmosphere, geology, and potential for past life, using an orbiter, a lander, and possibly an inflatable aerial platform to conduct in-depth exploration. The Vanera program laid the groundwork for this next chapter. Its innovations in spacecraft design, materials capable of withstanding extreme environments, and planetary exploration tools have shaped modern space missions. Beyond scientific and technological breakthroughs, the Vanera missions were also a powerful symbol during the Cold War demonstration of Soviet technological prowess and a key front in a rivalry with the United States. The world watched closely as these missions unfolded, recognizing their dual role in advancing science and projecting geopolitical influence. Landmark events, like Vanera 7's landing in 1970, were celebrated as both scientific milestones and political victories, underscoring the lasting significance of the Soviet Union's contributions to space exploration. Ask ChatGPT. Despite Venus being an incredibly hostile planet, the Soviet space program remained persistent in its efforts to explore it. Operating under extreme conditions including surface temperatures reaching up to 450 degrees Celsius, crushing atmospheric pressure, and thick clouds of sulfuric acid pose major challenges. Many spacecraft failed to survive long enough to collect meaningful data. However, Soviet scientists and engineers pushed forward, managing to gather critical information about Venus's surface and atmosphere. The Vanera missions played a key role in revealing the planet's harsh environment, including its toxic air, volcanic terrain, and mountainous regions. Notably, Vanera 13 and Vanera 14 provided the first images of Venus's surface, offering an unprecedented glimpse of a rocky, alien world unlike anything seen on Earth. Although not every mission succeeded, some spacecraft failed to reach the planet or experienced technical problems that prevented data transmission. The determination and resilience of the Soviet team stood out. Their perseverance demonstrated that even under the toughest conditions, valuable scientific discoveries were possible. Ask ChatGPT.